Word. It's gonna be like 6 full minutes.
Most Americans know of the 9/11 terrorist attack and are aware of the war going on in the Middle East. Do all Americans really know of the danger they could be in? Do all Americans understand just how radical these Muslims can be? I believe I truly know how radical these people are and how much of a threat they are to national security. We need to increase spending on the war and increase our aggression against this enemy. The radicals will not stop, and neither should we. Terrorism is defined as a group that uses violence to cause fear. Not only are there many different terrorist groups, but there are many different ways these groups came to be about. Each group has their own goals as well. We can trace the beginnings of terrorism in the Middle East back to the conflict between the Arabs and the Israelis. The reason for the dispute is that Israel wanted their own country. The Arabs resorted to terrorism to try and stop this from happening, but eventually Israel became a free country. Those events eventually led to terrorists we know today. The terrorists we face today are driven by hatred for the Western world. They will stop at nothing, even death, to destroy our way of life. This video is an example of a few terrorist attacks.
Hello, ma'am? You can talk, ma'am? Stay calm, stay calm.
Believe that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center in New York.
And we just got word of not one but two explosions near the finish line on their down in a car, he's passing to death in front of officers and what it's about.
You have reached 911. We are currently experiencing a high volume of calls. Please do not hang.
There have been a number of terrorist attacks on American soil in the past years. There have been the attacks on the Twin Towers in 2001 to the Boston bombings in 2013. These attacks are calculated and devastating. 2,973 people lost their lives in the 2001 attacks alone. Since 1968, there has been an average of 411 deaths per year from terrorist groups, and a total of 14,807 deaths have been accounted for. Some say that terrorism can only be beaten by counterterrorism. Others will suggest that a full-on war is the way to defeat them. I believe a little bit of both is necessary to achieve the victory over this enemy. However, the number one way to defeat this enemy is to have a police force. If there is a constant law enforcement that knows the people and the land, the police force will have better connections and therefore better intelligence. Also, if the terrorist group is big enough, there will be a need for military support. If a country is harboring terrorist organizations, there should be serious economic sanctions placed on that country. The sanctions would force them to turn against the terrorist organization. If everyone will elect strong politicians who will not roll over to terrorist groups, this can be achieved. These politicians have the power to vote on important matters, including when and where to send troops and which countries to support against terrorism. If America does this, we can rid the world of terrorism once and for all. We will never have to be scared about getting on a plane. We will never have to be scared to visit the beautiful countries in the Middle East, and many American soldiers will be able to return home to their families. In conclusion, if there are no more terrorists in the world, it will be a much more peaceful place. We should take control and do something about this problem before it is too late. I hope everyone grasps how serious of a matter this is and understands how it can be resolved.